Hey y'all, I'm Ariel. Welcome to my channel if you're new, and welcome back if you're a subscriber. So let me get a quick thumbnail moment really quick. Me taking off this makeup, y'all, and then we're gonna get into the title. Okay, so I was reading this book the other day, and in the book they basically were saying that it's so common for humans, us humans, we make so many things so complex and complicated when they don't have to be. But it's so common for us to do things like trust in people and love and want to confide in just anybody and just you kind of let those walls down or keep them up, right? And it really made me think there's really a difference and such a thing as common mistakes and common sense. Because at the same time, it's okay, I know common sense is not so common, right? But then there are just common mistakes that we all make. It's is it a lack of common sense, or is it just common mistakes we all make either earlier or later in life? So I'm literally saying that to say, I feel we're so hard on ourselves sometimes, because we always are thinking we're supposed to know better. It's I should have known better, So yeah, you're sitting there thinking oh, I should have known better than to do this or think this way or trust this person. There's so many situations in life to where you're gonna be put in a position to where you gotta trust somebody, you gotta believe somebody. Lord, don't let me have to believe somebody, please. I'm tired. Because it's you really never know. Honestly, you're taking, and I really, when I saw this quote the other day, I was wow, that really put a lot into perspective for me. And it was that trusting any person, place, or thing is a risk. You never know. You never know, simply because that human never knows either what positions they're going to be put in and how they are going to stand on their loyalty. It's so crazy because, y'all, I was literally talking the other day about how cheating is wrong, and if someone does it, I understand their circumstances and some people might feel forced to cheat, but at the end of the day, it's still wrong, right? And honestly, it's I literally that day, I was in a situation to where I saw people go through human things to where they were put in a position to where they did the wrong thing, and they were surprised, at themselves. And honestly, I think that really, not to say that it's an excuse, but it really put in perspective to blah, 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 blah. It really puts in perspective as to why people make almost the dumbest mistakes. And it's man, at the end of the day, we're just human, that sometimes we just make common mistakes. A lot of us do. Now, I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I'm not gonna say cheating is such a, oh, it's just a common mistake. But it's honestly, sometimes you just find yourself in a position to where you're learning yourself. I honestly feel a lot. Now, this is the thing with this, before I go on, because I want to preface this and say this. Okay, a mistake is made the first time, right? And then the second time you do that same thing, that's a choice. Okay, right? Hopefully, something like cheating is something that doesn't occur multiple times for someone, because then you're just a chronic cheater, and I cannot respect that, right? But when you're put in a position, and this could be anything. So I use that example, but this could be anything. When you find yourself in a position to where you're making a new decision, this is a new experience, you've never experienced this before, you've never been in this position before, you've never experienced being in these shoes before, and you have to make this decision, and it's you literally don't know what to do yet. You don't know what you don't know. So it's you might just make a mistake that another human has made before, because maybe someone else has been in this position before, or maybe not, because honestly, a lot of the situations we're in are so uniquely individualistic to each person. So it's honestly, sometimes I'm just yo, let me just chill, because I feel I was in a space to where I was really hard on myself. If you're very hard on yourself, I would really tell you to take a chill pill. and like understand that like it's your first time out here. Like it's your first time being the age you are. It's your first time, experiencing these moments how you're experiencing them. No other day is like the last. There's the moon, every day the moon has a new face. Okay? So like never expect and put yourself in the category of having the highest expectation for yourself to where you're like expecting impossible things out of yourself. Like I remember there was a point in my life where I was like, okay, one day I'm going to be perfect. One day I'm going to know how to handle every single situation. One day I'm not going to make, mistakes like as often. In one day, right? And that day unfortunately will never come because every day is so different. Every situation is so unique. And it's like that sounds so scary, but honestly, like that's just the truth. Like not every situation is you're going to know how to handle, and you're going to need to have grace with yourself. And I really think that's where character comes into play, because when you make a mistake, it's like, okay, are you going to learn from it, or are you going to let it turn you into a bitter person or are you going to let it tear you down? Are you going to let it really have you in a space to where you're like, I can't do anything right, I'm a failure, and this and that, when it's like failure is the steps to success. So you gotta fail to succeed. Like, oh my gosh, all this mascara is like really, like, Jesus, it was really stuck on there. Oh Lord, my God. But yeah, honestly, I keep saying honestly, y'all, I got ADHD, so bear with me. If you watch my videos, I've been saying I'm gonna stop apologizing for my ADHD when I feel like a community has built to where they already know. Y'all already know what it is. But literally, y'all, oh my God, like I was in a space to where I had made a mistake, and basically I was like, how could I have done this? Like, I think I was just like, I missed a work shift, and like I didn't even realize I had work that day, and I was like really disappointed in myself because like they were depending on me. And like it's worse when it's bad to let, it hurts to let yourself down, but when you let a lot of other people down, that's when it really is like, oh my gosh, I know it's common, I know we all make mistakes, but oh my goodness, like letting other people down, having other people be disappointed in you, and hearing the tone of disappointment, and like knowing that you just like created like an inconvenience for people. It sucks whenever you think about it that way. But then I started thinking, you know what? Maybe if I left the house today, like I saved myself from getting in a wreck. Maybe, maybe someone might have broke their ankle today if I would have showed up, because I would have stepped in front of them or whatever, like, or, just whatever. Like, the butterfly effect is very real. I definitely believe in that. So I'm like, whatever, whatever resulted from me making this mistake was supposed to happen. It was meant to happen. And everything happens for a reason. Life happens for you and not to you. And I think those are very important things to remember when we're like, oh, I can't believe I did this. Like, oh my God. And it's like, start thinking of like, I wonder what I'm going to learn from this. I know it's so corny and cheesy, but y'all, like, it helps so much to reframe your mind in a way that's more focused on growth than a fixed mindset of hell. Like a fixed mindset from hell will ruin anyone's life. I don't care who you are. If you're constantly like, oh, I'm a failure, I can't believe I did this, I can't believe I've made yet another mistake, and you're literally a human being. Honestly, it's like, that's why I'm like, is it common sense? Like, or is it common mistakes? Because it's like, when you're like, oh, they ain't got no common sense, it's like they might just be making, now, again, learn from those mistakes. That's why I say it's important to have the mindset to back this whole thing that I'm saying up, because if you're constantly making the same mistake, it's like, all right, nah, let's learn something, okay? Let's learn something from this. Let's learn from some, come on, like we can't just be, in the same spot over and over again, like, think of it. Sometimes I do like to think of life in the game theory sort of way, because it's like, are you going to just stay at the level you're at and like quit and put the game away? Or are you going to finally find a way to succeed past this level? Because it's like, now, if you keep responding to people in the same way, if you keep losing your temper and going off and cussing people out, like, do you want to keep doing that? Do you want to stay at this level, or do you want to upgrade? You want to rise up, or you want to stay the same? right? Now, there are certain times when, like, as far as common sense, because it is common mistakes versus common sense. For me, common sense is like, okay, like, how much self-reflecting do you do? I feel like that comes with it. Like, if you don't self-reflect often, I don't think you can grow your common sense that much. Like, how much reading are you doing? How much listening to others are you doing? Because I'm not gonna lie, I don't want to keep learning by experience. Certain things, I'm like, all right, nah, I don't want to keep learning that from experience. I really don't. I would rather just be open to listening to other people, my elders who have wisdom, who can, teach me what to do, what not to do, how to say certain things and how not to say certain things. And honestly, be humble about it and be less defensive of constructive criticism. That was something that I really found that I like had to work on. Like, I grew up being a very defensive child because I always like kind of had people in my corner that I didn't feel was fully in my corner. So I felt like I was always constantly like in a place of like I'm about to like getting ready to defend myself because I feel like somebody was finna play with me or something, right? And even exactly like you see what I just said, play with me. There is something called the game theory, which is where some people really think of game as like a game of life as a game. So it's like you either win or you lose. Okay. So sometimes it's like, how we be like, oh, they playing with me. Like, don't play. I ain't playing with you. And when you be like, look, I ain't playing with you. It's like, really, I'm being for real. Like, so there are those certain situations to where, what was I just saying, y'all? I was just saying that, bear with me now. Hold on. I lost my train of thought. It's going to come back. And I said I wasn't going to edit my videos much because I really just want to like be my most authentic. I don't even want to cut it, y'all. I done forgot what I was saying. Shit. I was saying that to say, oh, constructive. See, proud of me, y'all, because my ADHD had been beating it's like in the past years, like my ADHD really been beating my butt, especially with talking to people and just like talking. And I love to talk clearly, but I was saying that to say like, I used to not have as much common sense and street smarts because I wouldn't be open to listening to people because I felt like they was always trying to be condescending or talk down on me for not knowing. They'd be like, you don't know this? Oh my God. Especially with the way certain people would try to explain it to me. It's like, all right, now you trying to make me feel stupid. Like, I'll slap the dog shit out you. Stop playing with me. Word to SZA, right? Because it's like, don't try to make me look stupid while you're trying to teach me something. That's the worst thing you can do. Okay, you ain't my parent for all that. I don't even like when a parent tries to do that, like let alone somebody else. But when I became more open to constructive criticism, I realized something. I was like, hold on a second, because I actually learned something. But you know what? Maybe they do know this a little better than me. And that takes a lot of like self-awareness, and that takes a lot of self-management to like stop in that moment of being like, who are you telling what to do? I know you're not telling me what to do. Like I know they don't think they know about this than me, right? And it's like, well, they do. Now with cars, look, I'll go in there like, I don't know what's going on, like help me, okay? Because I don't know. But like, if it's even harder when it's a situation or a subject that like you read a lot on or like kind of have a lot of experience in, and so when someone else tries to touch on it, it's really hard to sit there and like really listen to somebody else talk about something that you might not have the same take on or the same perspective on. And it's like, to really sit there and listen to that person and actually try to learn something from that person takes a lot of humility and a lot of patience. And it is really hard. Ow. God, my eye is like hurting because I've been wiping it so much, but trying to make sure everything is off. Owie, that hurt, y'all. But it takes so much patience, and like, you got to be real humble to like let somebody else be like, look, this is what I know about this. And like, honestly, what you know may not be all of what there is about that subject or even the correct thing about that subject. And so that's where I feel a lot of common sense comes into play, is because it's like, if you aren't open to taking in more information, and there was this quote, and it was like, in order to learn something, you have to let go of something, because you have to let go of the fact that you either didn't know about this, or like didn't want to know about this, or thought you knew about something and you were actually wrong, you have to let go of that. And so like you have to almost master the art of detachment in order to learn new things, because it's new and you have to let out with the old and with the new. And to let that old completely go away in order to fully learn something new is hard sometimes. And so that's why I feel like common sense ain't so common, you know? But yeah, I really just felt like I wanted to touch on that because I had written that down in this book I was reading the other day. I wrote down common mistakes versus common sense. And it's like, we can all make the, now again, I really want to reiterate this by saying you can make that one mistake that one time, okay? Especially if it's like a new situation. Don't be too hard on yourself. Give yourself grace. If you keep making that mistake, you have not learned your lesson, and you need to have some more like self-discipline with yourself. And like, you need to be able to like reflect on your own actions and your own thoughts, you know, in a way that you can actually learn from and improve from your past version of yourself. It comes to a point where it's like, all right, now let's get serious. Okay, let's fix that. Okay. So yeah, and I was just like, man, like there really comes a point to where it's like we have probably all been in the position to where we could have all made the same mistake. Maybe it was slightly different. It might not have been the same place, person, or thing, but it's like we could have all made that same mistake. And it's so crazy. If we would just listen more to each other, common sense wouldn't be so uncommon. It would be a little more common, right? So yeah, y'all, honestly, I just wanted to talk to y'all while I took my makeup off. I really enjoyed filming today. I have a lot of new videos on my page. They're all linked below. Go check them out. This wig, I got it from Amazon. If you want to see me install this wig and how I kind of like messed it up and then revived it, go ahead and check that out. It is in my wig era playlist. The makeup look I had at the beginning of this video, of course, is recorded for you guys. And also go check out... and a brain fart. Also, go check out the Disadvantages of Being Pretty series, as well as the Her Hidden Curriculum series for my girls that just want to talk about girl things that we do. Like, you know, like, let's talk about it. I feel like we all know about it. We're not alone, so let's talk about it, okay? But yeah, that is going to end this video. I just felt like I needed to touch on that. Just a quick little 20-30 minute video, you know. Just wanted to pop in and talk to you guys. I really love this playlist because it's like I'm just coming to y'all as I am. I don't feel like I have to do too much. Like, I don't feel like I have to like create like a certain vibe. Like, this is just a place for me to come and like talk to y'all about things that like I was just thinking about, you know. Oh God, it's time for me to go. It's time for bed, okay? With that being said, thank you for listening, watching, and existing. I'm Ariel. Until we meet again, bye.